everyone. So I'm joined here by a very familiar face on my platform, even though she doesn't always get asked permission. She makes it onto my page pretty often. So this is Amberoo. I call her Amberoo.
Hello.
Sorry, but I do. And she is now 20. Can you believe it? Whew, makes staff feel old every time we say that. But we are doing something special together today, something that Amber has wanted to do for the longest time. I actually posted about it, when was it? A few weeks ago, about the fact that Amber wanted something very specific for her birthday last year. She wanted her DNA core test done. So that's what she got. And I was very excited because she's the last of the whole family to get her DNA tested.
Even Bella's done it.
Yeah, she was 2 when we did Bellaboo. She was
I'm
2.
the last.
And then Steph and myself did it also many years ago. And then Bethany did hers a couple of years ago. And her whole life has changed in her diet and everything. The way she approaches her nutrition has changed. And the last in line was Amber. They always say middle child shame.
Yeah, I'm always ignored. Everyone forgets about the middle child.
Just kidding. Okay, so let's talk about why you wanted to have this. Why was it so important to you?
Well, it started about, I'd say in 2021, towards the end of 2021. I just started to notice a lot more wrong physical symptoms happen. And I started to feel worse and worse and worse as the months would go by. It first started with me losing a lot of my hair. I actually had really bad bald spots, and I was like, this is not normal. But at the time I kind of dismissed it because I thought we just had COVID. I thought COVID, hair loss, whatever, I'm gonna ignore it. And then a couple months down the line, I started to just have this really bad fatigue where I couldn't get through the day without a nap. I had to have lots of coffees, lots of energy drinks, lots of Cokes and things to get through the day.
This is my stepchild, so you can imagine.
Yeah, it's quite the shock. And then I started to have these really bad headaches where it felt like I was on the verge of having a migraine. And it was this ache behind my eyes, and it was these debilitating headaches. And it eventually got to a point where I was just used to having a headache. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd just have a headache, and it just became a part of my life to just always have it and have it be there.
And we thought it was long COVID at the time.
Long COVID or just brain fog, or I dismissed a lot of it to stress, burnout, whatever, because I do work a lot. So I just constantly dismissed it. And then only in the last 6-ish months, Beth actually started dragging me to the classes at the studio.
Dragging? I mean, and then, come on, Amber.
No, she did it for the first one. And then the first class I did was Jono's class. And then I was like, ooh, I like this. Jono convinced me. And I was like, okay, thanks, Jono. And then I started doing classes more and more frequently. And then I started to notice that more I exercised, the more my physical symptoms kind of acted up. And then the real red flag that popped up was when the joint pain started. And that was I couldn't even walk up the stairs on campus at my varsity. I couldn't go up the stairs at home. Even rebounding, which is meant to be a low impact modality, I would walk away and I would just have this really odd joint pain, and my ankles and my knees would throb, and just something was off. Something was wrong. And I couldn't put my finger on it. So,
and also on top of all of that, for the longest time, you've had these gut things.
Oh yeah,
going on.
Yeah,
and we would just know
my guts is
can't
just
eat
stuffed.
certain foods because there's going to be problems.
And I found out I was lactose intolerant by mistake, because there was one day where I just ate a lot of dairy, and there was horrible consequences from it. And then I was like, okay. And then I just noticed, and I was like, oh, and I found out completely by mistake that I was lactose intolerant.
But we haven't confirmed it yet.
Yeah, we haven't confirmed it. It's just
until
a suspicion.
This guy.
So it's just a suspicion. And then with all the physical symptoms going on, eventually Lise put me in touch with Carly. And then I spoke to Carly, I gave her all my symptoms, all the things that I do, my lifestyle, all that. And then she sent me for blood tests, quite extensive ones. And then we checked, and thyroid, autoimmune, all of that stuff came back fine. Everything was normal. And then it turned out that I actually had quite a severe inefficiency, or a deficiency with my iron, my vitamin D, and my vitamin B. So Carly kind of told me, no wonder you have these rager headaches and you're constantly exhausted, because all the vitamins that are supposed to give you energy, you are low in them.
Yeah, you need to supplement.
Yeah, she gave me a whole bunch of supplements to be on and a few lifestyle changes to make. And that has already made the world of difference. I've felt stronger when training. On the rebound, not as much pain.
Everyone that's listening to this, don't think it's a quick fix. It's not
no,
medicine.
I'm only feeling the
weeks.
benefits after, I'm thinking on my 3rd month now.
Yeah.
And I'm only starting to notice things, my hair's not falling out in clumps anymore, which is really nice. So have some stuff going on there. But then that just made me curious. And I was well, I've been walking around and I just dismissed it, and I've had all these horrible physical symptoms. I've never felt healthy, and I'm young, and I'm supposed to. And I was just always been guesswork, always dismissed it. And then I was okay, now I'm curious. And I saw physically Beth completely transform her lifestyle in a matter of months after doing her DNA. And now she's you know, she's so excited about being gluten-free and like da-da-da, and she's never felt better.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just like, okay, well, now I'm curious. Like,
Yeah.
why do I not feel 100% all the time? You know, what's good for me, what's not good for me? And like, ultimately for me now as well, in university, I want to achieve well, I want to do well. And I can't focus, I can't give it my all, I can't push myself if I don't know my limits, I don't know what's good for me, I don't know what's bad for me. So I was like, okay, it's time to do it. Let's just see. I want to know
And
who
you're meant
I
to be
am.
in the prime of your life. You should not
Yeah.
be having all these issues.
No, I feel like
so
I'm
young.
physically
Yeah.
like 60, like back pain. Like, why am I having back pain? It's
And I think
not
a lot
normal.
of girls, guys your age get into really bad habits at this point. And
Yeah.
probably, well, I mean, a lot of kids, just because you're younger doesn't mean you don't suffer from an autoimmune disorder or you have low iron or there's something going on a systemic level, physiological level. And so you are drinking a lot of the coffee and you're having a lot of the energy drinks and you kind of like taking uppers to get you up, and then when
Yeah.
you're low, you're taking the caffeine and then
But
the
also,
sugar and
like,
the carbs.
Because
and
you're young, a lot of adults are also dismissive of it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I live with
so
you.
you're drilling too much.
Yeah, I
You know
live
what
with
mean?
you, and you're like, no, darling, something's wrong. You need to go
Don't
get
get
it
too
checked.
late. Stop
But
Netflix.
yeah, all the other parents are like, even if it's an ailment, it's like, oh, it'll go away. You're young.
Yeah.
You'll heal. You'll get over it. Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. So a lot of kids my age, they never do the checks. They never consider, is this good for me? Is this bad for me? It's whatever. I'm young. Whatever. Like, you know. And then all these unhealthy habits and all these things develop
And some
now.
of them can be lifelong. So if you don't sort it out when you're young, you know, not only from a health perspective can you start to develop really bad, like unhealthy habits that can stick with you for life, and you've got to try and shake them off in your 40s and 50s, which is really hard to do when you've been doing it for 30 years, like smoking or vaping or whatever, because you just need a pick-me-up the whole time. You're feeling exhausted. You don't know why
Yeah.
you're exhausted. So you need these stimulants all the time, but you don't know why. So, and it's almost like not your fault.
Yeah.
Because you're born with this, whatever it is, that is kind of hindering your performance. And also it's like, so not only is it like a habitual type of thing, but this is the time of your life you should be able to push the limits, the boundaries. You should be able to work as hard as you can. You should be able to work 12-hour days in your 20s and get ahead. Not that I'm advocating it, because I do believe in balance, but this is the time of your life when you should be able to like give
But also,
everything.
Yeah, also wellness as a whole though, because like we always say social media this, social media that, but it's true. A lot of kids my age are struggling with things like eating disorders, and they just have like that really bad habits because they've seen this on TikTok, all the like the trends and the diets going around, and like also gym culture, especially amongst like my friends who are guys, like this toxic gym culture, just get jacked and get like amazing abs, but then they're on steroids and they're on this and they're on that, and it's like everywhere you look, it's like when I look at my friends and stuff, it's like nobody is prioritizing wellness at the moment. Like everyone's just trying to look as good as they can because they're young, they're in their 20s. It's kind of like the goal.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if you're trying to, you know, really go ahead in your career, if you're trying to build a life at 20, which is hard right now, like right now it's really hard to be young, you can't do that if you're not feeling well,
Yeah.
you're not feeling healthy. And so for me, it's just like, I want to take away the guesswork. I just want to know,
Yeah.
like finally, if I eat a pizza, how am I going to feel afterwards? Because right now I don't
Is it
feel
worth
good.
it?
Yeah, is it worth it?
Yeah, because I do think it's about balance. If you know that you're going to feel a certain way, but you know that there's maybe a digestive enzyme that you can take, or like you know you've got high inflammation, so when you have alcohol, you're going to hang for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know the supplements that you need to be taking before you go out, and then when you get home, and then for the 2 or 3 days afterwards, that this is how you're going to feel, and your body's going to be struggling more than your friend. You know, like there's
Yeah.
things that you can take that are going to make it less of an impact on you. So not that I advocate any of this, I'm just trying to be real, because like, you know, you are jawling, you are going to
Yeah.
be doing those things. So it's good to understand, is it worth it? And if it is, great. At least you know how to treat it after or before.
Yeah.
If it's not worth it, don't do it. It's like, if you when you know better, do better. You know, like,
But that's
now
the
we're
other
gonna
thing
know
is
better.
like when I spoke to Carly, she asked me, she was like, how's like the jawling and all of that going for you? And I told her like, no, I'm not really like partying as hard as much. And then she said, good, because from my blood tests, my uric acid was actually quite high. So with the joint pain and everything, she said that if I kept jawling and whatever, if my uric acid goes too high, I could be at the risk of getting gout. So it's like, oh, okay, you know, that's obviously then the drinking's not helping when it comes to like my knee
Yes.
pains and my ankle pains. So then it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm only going to pick specific weekends, like on days or weekends where there's a celebration or someone's birthday, and like those will be the weekends where I'll go out and I'll have fun and whatever, because for that. But majority of the time, then I'm
Yeah.
going to lay off the alcohol, the booze,
Yeah.
because I know my knees and my ankles are going to pain the next day, or you know, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. So like the blood tests alone were like so eye-opening, and then I was like, I can't wait,
Yeah, to take the
just
next
know
steps.
more.
Okay,
Yeah,
so now
to
we
just know
have
more.
to take the next steps, Amber. So I have to
Okay.
pick you. always wanted to do this to Amber. Just kidding.
Yeah, any resentment, now's the time to get it all out.
Okay, so you got to choose a finger for me. So you choose whatever one you want me to prick. So
Finger.
rub. And then you need to swab it with some alcohol so that the site is really clean. We'll fill that out afterwards, okay? And that we have decided we're going to do the DNA core. And then you could always add on. I know you were quite keen to do DNA mind. Yeah, I think you were keen to do that one.
Yeah, DNA mind.
And there's also one that's all about autoimmune and inflammation and stuff. So we could maybe add that on. So if you've done a test, they keep your test results at the lab for 2 years. So you can always down the line say, oh guys, can you get me the top-up test for my next birthday? And we can add on another one as we go. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to prick, and then you're going to wipe the first little blood swab away with this gauze.
Okay, I'm not going to look. Can I put this down?
Yes.
Okay,
Down.
great.
Okay, so it's here, right?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, how sore is it?
Very.
Really? Oh, that was agonizing.
Okay, now squeeze a bit. I'm going to wipe the first there. I'm going to wipe that away.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can squeeze.
Into
You can
what?
hold your hand down a bit, and I'm
Okay.
going to like take this. There we go. Swab it up. Keep going. I need more.
Okay.
Quite a lot more. I have to fill these 2 buds.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is like quite a bit.
Yeah. Grab some spinach leaves. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now
Okay.
just swab that, and then there's a plaster for you to put it on. Okay, so we close here.
Okay.
Right, and then all we have to
that's
do
a bit
is
gross.
fill
Now
out the little form
Plaster.
over here, and we're going to put Amber's details on. We're going to tick here DNA core, sign everything. This is your like kind of indemnity, and then we pop this into the box and we go and take it through to the lab. So that's if you're doing it in person. If you were to do it at the studio, we can always help you here, or you could do it in the store. Okay, that we're not allowed to because we're not nurses. Like do everything for you, so you've got to touch your blood, and we can kind of assist and help and stuff like that. But we can do it for you in the store or at the studio, and then we will go and drop it off with our driver. We go like a couple times a week. Or if you want to order your kit online, we'll send this whole box via courier to your door. You do it yourself. The courier comes, fetches the box, and takes it away, sends it to the lab. And as long as we collect within 7 days, it will always be less than that. It's called a dry blood spot test, not wet, like a vial of blood. So it can last 7 days, actually. So don't worry about it. If you only prick yourself on a Monday and the courier comes on the Thursday or Friday, it's still 100% perfect. And then you will get your results in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, depending on the queue. Carly will let you know. So this is what will happen. Carly will send you a text or an email saying, I've got your results. You know, when can we schedule an appointment? And then because you're doing core, probably about 90 minutes to 2 hours, it'll take for her to decipher everything and kind of explain it in layman's terms, and then give you a plan of action. So say, okay, this is what we need to cut out, we need to include more of this, and be able to give you advice around your specific DNA. And then you can take it one step further, and if you feel like you need an eating plan, then she can give you a bespoke eating plan with your likes and dislikes, taking into account what you need more of, your intolerances, like if you are lactose intolerant, which I'm highly
Very
likely that you are.
probable, yeah.
And so it's so unique, and that is what makes it so incredible. So plus the blood test that you've already had with those changes, and then the DNA, you really have all the data that you need to have this beautiful bespoke plan drawn up for you, and something that you can follow for the rest of your life. It's not like Amber's DNA is going to change when she's 40 or 60 and now she has to do this all over again. You know, bloods vary all the time, but your DNA cannot change. So this is really an investment in one's health forever. Amber will always know this is how she needs to eat and this is how she needs to supplement. If she wants to avoid her DNA going wonky and expressing itself poorly and then manifesting all of these things that she has underlying, that's not her fault, but if she eats badly or she drinks too much or she gets too stressed, she's going to trigger them, and then her DNA is going to play up and she's going to land up with something very scary, you know, and it's up to her. So the stats are only 7% of, you know, how you feel, your predisposition to things like cancers and stuff. Only 7% is genetic. The rest is determined by lifestyle, your lifestyle and your choices. I mean, that is a lot of responsibility on each and every one of us. You can't say anymore, oh, I'm going to get it because my parents did. Or my parents didn't get it, I won't. You can't say that. You know, 7% is genetic. The rest is actually up to you.
Yeah.
It's quite something when you realize that you have a lot more control than you think you do.
And I will say, like, I'm very lucky, like, especially with all the health stuff Dad's just been through, and also having you in my life and like still living with you and stuff. Health has never been like a bigger topic and a bigger priority like for us as a family. Yeah. So I'm very lucky, and I have the means to be able to be like, I want to do my DNA, because it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it really is like an investment. And I'm just so lucky to be able to hear everything that Lisa mentions in passing, and to be a part of the studio and hear like all the information and have all this knowledge. Like a lot of other kids my age are not in this position, or maybe don't even know. And they have no idea that what they're doing now is going to have XYZ, or could have XYZ consequences later. Yeah. And so I would just urge...
You don't think about it when you're young, right?
You don't,
you think
really
you're invincible,
don't.
but
like,
then
I
when
just
you
missed all of
regret
it.
You just think, why didn't I just make a few changes in my 20s? Why was I so stupid? You know?
So just for the parents out there, like, you know, if you know your kid's struggling with this and that, or there's just like physical stuff going on that you can't really explain, you don't know why it's going on, like, just encourage them to get their health checked.
Show them this video, okay? Show them this video of Amberoo and how she is doing her whole thing, and maybe it can be just the
parents are kind of onto something. This lady that I live with, she's kind of onto something.
So girls, guys watching this, maybe forgo one birthday of not getting the latest, you know, device, or not getting that order of clothes that you've had your eye on, or whatever. Like, just for one birthday, just think, do I really need it? I want it, but do I really need it? No. And let me rather, you know, have something like this. Yeah, prick your finger, get your results, and be set up for the rest of your life. No more questions, no more guesswork. Okay, you heard it from us. Bye.